replay and so on. Okay. So let's look at the comp here. RunAway is defending with the classic, well, not classic, but the standard Orisa defense here. And the goal of this comp is basically to snipe people with Widow while you spam with Junkrat, and you just have a ton of shield protection. Then when the enemies move in, let's say that they go left side towards point, which is this side, all you do is you rotate right side of point, the opposite, and you hold there. If they go right side, you rotate left side, so you take the opposite side all the time. And the Discord is gonna provide a ton of damage with the Mercy Beam, and you just wanna hold. It's a very static comp, and it builds on if you. The goal with the comp is basically if the enemies want to push in, they're gonna have to trade a lot of HP for it. And GEEKSTAR is running goats, Zen goats, which is a counter to this comp, and yeah, we'll see how this plays out. And this is in 1.25 speed. Okay, let's back here. So they move in. As soon as they cross this line, in my opinion, RunAway should be on point. Because once GEEKSTAR has control of point or has entered the choke, it's gonna be really hard for Orisa to set up somewhere. And you wanna stop the enemies before they enter the choke, because otherwise you can't orb, you can't control with Junkrat spam, with mines, etc. Since they got a kill on Lucio though, they are forced to reset because they can't speed. And it's a lot more important to reset when you're in a team environment, because every fight is vital, basically. And as soon as they lose the speed, Widow can go wherever she wants. That's also the reason why you see Junkrat moving up. And, oh yeah, another thing here. So as soon as Lucio dies, or actually not Lucio dies, it doesn't matter if Lucio dies actually. As soon as they cross this line here, Junkrat should push up. And it doesn't matter if someone is alive or not, but Junkrat does a ton of damage here since they are playing tanks and they can't reach him. And as the Rhine comp, you have two options, either you speed point or you speed into them here from high ground. Okay, so let's see at the ults here. RunAway is gonna have Trance next fight. They're gonna have Tire during the fight. Possibly before the fight. If they have Tire before the fight, that's a big thing, because if the best moment you can use Tire as Junkrat is right as an enemy is about to engage. Thank you so much for the sub, Son of a Salky. Thank you for liking the stream, and yeah, hope you stay here for tomorrow as well, because tomorrow is Sub Sunday. And yeah, check out my Discord in the sub chat to see what's going on. Okay, so let's look for GEEKSTAR here as well. They have no ults except Trance, so they have to take a fight with Trance after the Tire has come out. Or actually, they can fight with Tire coming out as well. Only person to die with Tire coming out is basically actually, if Tyre comes out, it can kill pretty much anyone, since trance is only 300 healing per second. So this is very good of GEEKSTAR to do, like they run into Orisa, but they have to keep going basically and watch out for the boops, traps, etc. Let's see, why do they... Ah, they keep fighting the Orisa here. If they just ignore the Orisa and speed past her, they should be able to like kill the Junkrat and Mercy and everyone else. The Orisa here, she's gonna fortify and get pocketed, and she's not gonna die. But I guess it's because... So let's see here. So the Orisa is discarded as well, so that's another reason for why they're going for her. So it's totally understandable. Okay, so let's see what happened. They get mech. Tyre kills Lucio, but Reinhardt kills D.Va. Then Zarya dies, D.Va's rest, they have mech again, Junkrat dies. And now respawns are coming back in. So as soon as respawns are coming back in, that's big trouble for RunAway. And you notice immediately, like as soon as GEEKSTAR has control on point with this tank comp, Orisa can't really set up more further in than this line. She can basically have 1 foot and that's it. And you see the shield placement as well, it's only for 1 foot. So it's contesting. Yeah, it's because of the respawns, pretty much. The respawns and not setting up quick enough. Okay, so let's see. If we're back here, okay, so now I found the problem. Orisa is right here on high ground. If she goes back here, starts shooting, or if she goes back and tries to drop on point, that's too bad position for her, because if she places her shield on point like this, she's forced to either stand behind the shield, have enemies shoot her in the back, or she has to stand in front of a shield and have enemies on point shoot her in the face. And the most optimal play would have been, or the $1 million play would have been, you drop down from here, you go to Junkrat, you place your shield just like you did later, instead of shooting straight away here. And if this would play, or like if Orisa would have done this earlier, because she did it later, if she would have done this straight away right now, they would be able to finish off the enemies on point. I think. It's very likely. Because the Widow can take care of the enemies coming in. Like, Alusha is really easy for Widow to kill. And any Widow in Korea, like in Contenders, is expected to have insane aim. So, what are the respawns? The respawns are basically Lucio, D.Va, and Zarya, okay. So yeah, you see. This Orisa is playing way too inefficiently, and I think it's the Orisa knows that this position is much better, this one right here, but staying on high ground is probably because she wasn't on the same page with the team moving back, and that's probably because of how new the team is and so on. Because you don't really know. It's not that you don't know, but you can't feel what your teammates are gonna make, what move they are gonna make, and it takes several weeks for that to form. It can take up to 3 months, for an example, until you see a really strong team play from a team. That's why it's so bad to break the course in pro play. And as GEEKSTARs, your single goal is to stay on point, and if you stay on point, you automatically win. If the wizard is slower, so yeah. I don't know what went on in the comms, of course, because we have no way to access the comms, but RunAway has the more, or RunAway could have turned it, yeah. So I know I'm talking a bit too much about first point, but it's really important because they are forced to switch tank, they drop ult charge, and GEEKSTAR is coming in with fresh ults, and they also lost the point with 3 men down. Not much you can do as Reinhardt here, because you get discorded and then you get focused. Zarya has a ton of energy. Let's see what else. Okay, so before the fight, they're still respawning, so they can't set up properly. Going right side is the optimal thing because of access to high ground. Easy access to high ground, then you can go all the way back here. You can also contest this high ground from the enemies. Let's see, they have trans coming up. They don't have Brig ult. They don't have beat. Widow should change to McCree right now. Or to Zarya. She could even go Mei, she could go Bastion. And I'm not kidding here, like she could go Bastion, she could go Mei. Because if she's setting up on left side and the rest of the team right side, during the snowball I mean, that's a valid play. But the thing is that you can't, if you go Zarya right now, if the Widow goes Zarya, she's gonna go right side because it's the most logical thing to do with the team. You build energy, you save people. The enemy Zarya on GEEKSTAR, she has Grav. And the Grav is gonna hit everyone. They're gonna use everything. They're gonna use beat. They're gonna use Diva Bomb. And if you then don't think about the Grav coming in, you can think about the Grav. You can try and eat it, but it's kind of hard. So if you don't think about the Grav or don't play around the Grav, you're gonna automatically lose this fight here, even if you have trans yourself. And no amount of healing can save you from a Diva Bomb and, you know, Shatter or Pin from Reinhardt. So that's why I think going Mei to block or to go Bastion, go here, set up here and just shoot them, like shoot anyone and just distract attention. Or not attention, you don't distract only, but you try and kill people because you have discord from your Zen. So there's many ways they can play around this, but it's very special because it's the snowball fight. And I don't think going Lucio is the correct thing here either. Like switching to Lucio. Wait, did he have? Oh yeah, so Mercy switches to Lucio. I don't think that's the correct thing. And the reason for that is because, let's see here. The reason for that is because Grav is certainly coming out. And you as Lucio without beat, you're not gonna do anything. So you might as well go Moira. Moira, you can also, you can go Anna to nade yourselves. And if you nade yourselves, it's gonna be an easy trans healing up through the Grav. But you still have to think about the Diva Bomb. So if you go Moira, the play is then to, this is a temporary pick by the way, going the Moira. If you pick the Moira, you can shift out of the Grav. You can keep healing. You place your orb and you just heal people. The orb is gonna get eaten by Diva unless she bombs. So if your Reinhardt doesn't die during the grab or whatever, you're gonna survive the bomb. And if you then have a Zarya, for example, no Bastion, no Mei, etc., you can also survive the bomb with bubbles. You can block shatters with bubbles. And then after the fight, after the grabs, you should be able to win. If they don't end up bursting you down. Or you might not win, but you end up getting ult charges yourselves, and you can ult back, and then win the fight. And after that, you switch to Lucio, basically. I'd say. Because you don't have to deal with these instant kill combos. If the Zarya wouldn't have grab, for example, if she just used it on first point, going Lucio is much better than going Moira or Ana. Because then you have a chance to build up a beat, and you can also deal with damage that comes in but isn't kill damage. So let's see how it goes. I haven't watched the matches myself, by the way. So they killed the Rhine. Let's see. D.Va gets focused. Okay, Rhine starts swinging. Oh, okay. Now we see. Let's play this slower, actually. He's instantly discorded. You can totally see it. He has shield up. Then he goes for a swing. Wait, does he? Yeah, he goes for a swing. For some reason, he drops the shield and goes for a swing. Or maybe his shield dies. Let's see. Now he goes for a swing. So this dude, he was the Zarya, who was too slow reacting on first point with the positioning, and in the snowball fight, when he absolutely needs to survive, he doesn't need ult charge, he doesn't need to hold, you know, mouse button 1. He needs to be a shield bot right now and survive. He gets bursted down, and Zen doesn't have ult, so that's why Trance is late. Maybe the Zen is communicating that he has Trance or whatever, and that's why he starts swinging. We don't know though. Yeah, I think this Reinhardt has misplayed twice in a really big way. Because, well, it's not major misplays, because it's just one person doing one mistake, like small mistake, but it's such a harsh environment to make mistakes in, because it's always gonna get punished. And GEEKSTAR isn't doing anything special, they're just punishing the Reinhardt. So now the D.Va bomb comes out, everyone dies, you can't stop it. And it's exactly as we predicted. I want to look like, let's see. Sometimes you can see on their face expressions how they are feeling, and you might not be able to lip read and so on, but in OWL, like early on in the season, I would lip read when they switch maps and they show players talking in English talking players. So especially against Fuel. So when Fuel would play against someone in, let's see, week 1, week 2, week 3 of stage 1, then when you go to stage 2 and you have the same opponent, you can try and figure out how the opponent, or maybe not the same, but you can look through the VODs, etc., and you can look at how do you react to different things. And yeah, I'm not sure if everyone goes to that extent, but there's so much money on the line there, so it's really important. This setup is really bad. This setup is so bad. If one person dies here, you have lost the point. And if the enemies just ignore you and run to point, you're not going to be able to catch up. Like, especially considering you have Zen. You have Zen goats, which means that you want long fights. You don't want quick fights. This right here is a quick fight, especially with 2 squishes that can be bursted down. So this like comp is going against itself. No, this position is going against the comp they're playing, and what's the board for it? They are basically showing that they don't understand the reason for having Zen more than discord or damage, because you can set up for point and you can have Zen play. Actually, you can have this position and play Zen on the other side, for example, but then they can rush him without, you know, guessing. Actually, is there any way better to play this? Actually, there isn't any better position with this comp. So I guess the comp is... I think the comp is worse than if they play Mora, for example. If they wanna, they could just sit on point and wait for enemies to come in. Okay, so watch this. A ton of ult charge. Oh, not a ton, but it's 16%. They win a fight, everyone uses bubbles, matrix. Okay, so as... I want to see how much of the matrix each diva holds, because they don't know exactly what comp they're gonna play each other. Let's see here. The diva here, she's doing a big mistake by showing herself. She's easy to hear. If diva is this far up, if diva is this far up, there's 2 things that RunAway can deduce. I guess deduct. I guess is the right word. It's that if either they're playing the Orisa comp and they're holding right above this, like further back here, because diva won't be able to fly all the way to the other side, or they are playing goats and they are holding really far close, really far up. Oh, Drift, you're not late. I just started Contenders versus... Oh, it's RunAway versus GEEKSTAR. And so far I've selected 2 maps, but I can do some more maps as well. And I just did attack for GEEKSTAR. So yeah, the diva here making... I think it's GEEKSTAR lacking a bit of fundamentals, like in terms of setup. Oh, no worries, by the way, no worries. So as soon as they see the diva jump back instead of flying back, they know, or they should know, that an engage is coming in right here. And let's watch the divas, how much matrix they use, because when you use matrix versus goats, you're basically lowering the damage you're doing, unless it's blocking barrage and orbs and stuff. So RunAway diva uses it a lot. Actually, it doesn't matter because we can't see the barrage. Okay, so as soon as Reinhardt dies, they have lost the fight. Okay. And now all you gain from this as the white, or as GEEKSTAR, is a bit of a ult advantage. But if you end up losing someone up here, like Zen or Reinhardt, because you're almost on equal terms. And okay, let's fall back here as well. Move back here. If Reinhardt would have been in the front here, and these two wouldn't be to the side, it would be way easier for Moira to heal up. And this is just a bit of a sloppy setup or a rollout for RunAway. Because it's really weird to see a diva do this unless she wants to fight right here. In my opinion. It's really weird. So they should expect that they come out, and with Moira they should win against Zen. If they all clump up, like stay in one ball. So Ryan gets stunned, he gets bubbled, so he's still alive, But since the diva is not in the middle of the fight, some of the damage, for example, Zarya damage, diva damage, Lucia damage, and let's see, Zen damage is gonna end up on Reinhardt. Because when there's like projectiles, you spread out the damage because some shots are missed and hit on the person behind you or next to you, in front of you, etc. And losing the first fight here is really big as RunAway. And it could be even bigger, like if GEEKSTAR dies here with one, yeah, RunAway has basically won the map. Nah, they shouldn't go back and switch, because this is way too late to run back and switch. And if you get a kill here, you have won the first point, because you finish off the rest of the team, and they have to run a ton of, like they have to do a marathon basically to get back to first point. And this position would have been more safer, and they could have, GEEKSTAR, I mean, could have taken this position from the first time as well. The downside of, I guess they moved back. Let's see how it plays out. Yeah, they go far too deep, and so the bad thing here is that they won't be able to reach Zen, they can't kill anyone, and if they speed in, enemies or like RunAway will speed out, and no one will basically die, they will be in equal terms. But the GEEKSTAR team, they will be ending up here, while RunAway will be just switching places. They will be a bit further back, up here, and they will just focus fire. And the focus fire will be much stronger on Leo, the GEEKSTAR Reinhardt, because he can't hold shield and run fast. Instead he has to drop shield and he gets discorded. While if you're if you want to discord someone, you have to step out here, like before your Reinhardt gets discorded, and you have to factor in that he doesn't even hold shield up, or he might hold shield up and block the discord. And so as GEEKSTAR, you're gonna have an unfortunate fight here, and the most effective fight would have been to wait for them to run up, you back off a bit, you move off, or you move to point and set up for a long range fight with this with Zen, and having the tanks hold the chokes, etc. Or you can be on high ground and drop down. It's just bad positioning. And it's not that RunAway has a good positioning as well, it's just that if GEEKSTAR basically risking the whole map on this setup. And that's how much snowballing RunAway can get. And like you see, it's insanely hard for GEEKSTAR to even get a pick. And now Okay, let's look at the ults as they move into second point. Okay, so they move in here. The setup on Who is pretty good. They have to rush him or send D.Va to just... Actually, can't do anything about the Zen. They just have to ignore the Zen unless they go high ground. Because he's gonna discard someone, and that discard is not gonna go away unless you line of sight or he switches or he dies. And the only way to kill him is by rushing him, because he's gonna get pocketed by Lucio. You also have Brig there. So D.Va is not gonna reach him, and D.Va is the only person to reach him. And so you also see Leo here on point alone, which is a tell that no... They also see Brig up here. So they have Grav. Everyone has armor. They have Beat and Trance coming up, and they have Bomb. They should win this fight. And all they have to do is basically... If they engage here, it's gonna be terrible, because Brig can come down, easy to discard. They can't discard themselves, because Reinhardt is gonna keep his shield up. So Who is not gonna get anyone discarded, unless Leo drops his shield or Brig moves in, or he moves in with the team, which is really dangerous. So a better route would have been to go right side, or left side from RunAway's perspective. That way they can discard anyone on high ground, they can protect the Zen, Zen can free farm, and they are forced, or GEEKSTAR is then forced to engage into RunAway. And by seeing the Brig here and Rein here, that's basically enough information to tell you that no one is holding on this side. Because there's no reason for setting your Brig up on high ground there, if there's no support. That's the easiest grab in their lives. Wait. Let's see. So the Who from GEEKSTAR, he drops down instead of just moving left or right. Yeah, GEEKSTAR basically had a terrible positioning, and the fight, or the start of the fight, was in favor of RunAway, and they had basically a mirror comp and no ults, so that's the reason why RunAway won. They got the first kill, and it was an easy first kill. So anyways, Who should have moved to the right here. Instead he just dropped down and line of sights himself. He's now on low ground. If he stays on high ground, no one can farm him. If he takes damage, he just drops down. And he can't see anyone. Like, he discards D.Va here, but he can discard Rein. So he gets a pin. That's a lucky pin, because if it wasn't Rein, D.Va, or anyone else, it probably, or it could have been a no kill basically. So even though, okay, so I guess it was a trash fight because they, maybe they, no, it became a trash fight when they grabbed, but RunAway could have fought back by going right side. I find the Goats defense very interesting because Goats is supposedly easily counterable. Oh, well, it's easy to counter, but it's also really strong. But right here, they they were able to counter it by having better or like the correct rollout, and they chose to not do it. And there's like a ton of factors, like maybe you don't know, maybe you do know, maybe you're too tunnel vision on something and you don't make the call, maybe, yeah, there's a ton of things that could have kept this from happening, but going right side would have been the best thing possible for RunAway, and they didn't do it, so it wouldn't matter if they just switch heroes, because usually switching comp is an easy way to compensate for lacking the knowledge on how to beat something like purely, because they have a mirror versus mirror, and if you switch comp you then reset ult charge, and you don't want to do that. So like going goats and staying goats is totally fine. Also GEEKSTAR has to deal with the snowball, so that's why they are staying goats. Right now they are taking an early fight because RunAway didn't use ults, so they use ults and they can farm back up the ults they used if they end up not using ults again. So like if RunAway gets a shatter, like a 6-man shatter, and they end up with 6 ults but everyone dies, GEEKSTAR might have 4 or 5 ults, but they have also some ult charge on the people that used the ults. This is really good for GEEKSTAR. They use trans. They have one person that just died, and Brig is gonna get respawn. If they keep fighting here and no one goes point, that's perfect, because right now GEEKSTAR can't fall back. They have to commit. And they have to just try and die as... They have to time their deaths to the best extent, because you can't really decide when you're gonna die. They have to time the death so that they respawn just in time to recontest, but also build ults so that they can contest. So RunAway are just taking a point right now, and it's 1 tick. Totally fine. They are in time to respawn here. So they use beat, and now they are able to farm back up some ults. For example, if Reinhardt would have had more charge, if Zarya would have had more charge, etc., it would have been easier to defend here. It's kind of a risk you have to take, because the alternative is you wait for RunAway to come into point. So if we go back here, the alternative is you wait for them to come into point, and if you look at your own ults, you have 2 defensive ults, or you have 1 trans, you have beat coming up. They have Grav, they have Diva Bomb, they have Shatter, they have 2 defensives, so RunAway is technically gonna win this. And your best bet is basically to take the early fight here. And you have to try and get the first kill or build as many ults. As many ults as possible. Just loading the VOD. It's a bit slow. Maybe now. Okay. Okay, so the VOD is buffering, I guess. So RunAway here. Zen is on high ground, which means that they can discord someone coming in into the choke. And they will be able to fight in the choke on equal grounds. So this is kind of weird because they're showing the comp. GEEKSTAR will be able to discord as well. They even have discord up on the D.Va. The most important thing is to not get discorded on Rhino. So RunAway's Zen is missing a golden opportunity right here. Actually, wait, he can't even discord. Ah, wait. So Leo gets bubbled. Actually, he could have been discording him right before as well, because it wasn't a well-timed. And now he can discord him again, and he just doesn't do it. He doesn't discord anyone. No, actually, it's D.Va again. I'm not sure why they value D.Va more than Reinhardt, because if Reinhardt dies, everything dies. Reinhardt also builds Shatter really quickly. Maybe it's because he dropped down, I'm not sure. It's a really risky fight from RunAway. I have no idea why they don't just go on the Reinhardt with a discord. No, they could find it. They definitely could find it. Like, look here. There's no excuse for pro players to not discord here. Like, this is a moment you can discord. Here's a moment you can discord. Here's another moment you can discord. And another moment you can discord. There's, like, in lower level, you can excuse it because the reaction times aren't fast enough, but the level of play right now is the second or the highest level of Overwatch, except for Overwatch League, is in Overwatch Contenders, Korea, and they should be discording the Reinhardt here, and they should be able to find it. It's basically fights like these. For example, if GEEKSTAR then has a better discord and just focus fires better, they would kill RunAway, and RunAway loses the point, basically, because these fights are so risky just because of the positioning. And it's very hard to guarantee more value before the enemy has more value than you. Like as a defender, when you're playing like this, you're almost on equal grounds, which means that just like RunAway, when they fought GEEKSTAR in the choke here and GEEKSTAR lost the first person, like first death, RunAway then takes point like immediately and snowballs and like wins the whole round. Then they proceed to do the exact same thing that made GEEKSTAR lose. Instead, they can be on Orisa and just fix the timing with the positioning. I'm not sure like why they change. Let's see what happens. Okay. This D.Va should be shooting on whatever the discord is. Because if you're a D.Va and you fly above the enemies, sure, you can do a ton of damage, but you're not gonna have a ton of... You won't have the same damage and protection for your discord, so for your tanks, etc., as you would if you were on ground. Let's see. So they did the boop. Let's see here. Now I think I understand. Where's the Reinhardt? RunAway's Reinhardt. Is he? Yeah, he's behind here. So he's positioning for a pin, and they boop. Okay, so it was actually a play RunAway tried to do by booping and then pinning. But if they bubble, let's see, do they even have bubble? So they use the friendly bubble on Ryan. They should press in, move forward, but they don't. So GEEKSTAR. Okay, so the mistake GEEKSTAR makes is that they don't hold W when they use the bubble on Ryan, and that leaves room for the enemy Ryan, or for RunAway's Ryan, to do a pin with a bubble on him, because he can't get stunned, and the only thing you can do as LED, or Leo, I mean, not LED, is to pin back. Like, he has his charge, but he's just unaware of the incoming charge, because it's so quick. Right here. If he just turns and starts, like, presses the button to pin, he doesn't take damage, but he's gonna get knocked and he's gonna get discorded. Maybe he still dies. But he can have his diva step in front of him and just soak some damage. Yeah, this is just a result from not pushing in with the bubble, because their diva went up and dealt with the enemy diva. See you later, son of a Selkie. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you have a nice day as well. So as RunAway, you want to start cycling the ults here. Let's see what ults. You can fight with... Let's see. Usually you would start to plan about the ults right now, when you're heading back. So you have Diva Bomb, you have Shatter, you have Grav. You don't have Beat. They might have Trance, they might have Beat, and they might have Grav. You want to do... Yeah, you want to fight with Trance, I think. Trance and Brig ult. And go for a Shatter. Actually, you don't want to pop Trance. But you don't want to use Grav, because you want to use Grav to... Actually, The thing is, if you use Grav as RunAway right now... Let's move back. If you use Grav, you want to use it with Diva Bomb, even if you don't have Diva Bomb. Let's say that you use Grav, you wipe the enemies, they have done Grav. You don't know exactly if they have Diva Bomb, but let's say that they have Diva Bomb. They can do their own Diva Bomb plus Grav setup, and then enemy Reinhardt pins your Reinhardt, and you're all dead. So like, you can't use Grav even if you have it, unfortunately. Okay, so they use Grav, Diva Bomb, and Brig ult. I think that's the correct cycle. And use... Yeah, so this boop from RunAway's Lucio is just to displace Reinhardt and get, like, try and get an easy grab on him. Okay, so the easy grab is that Zarya here, she grabs into the corner so that D.Va can't eat the grab, and that way they get both Brig and Rein. It's not a set play, it's just them setting up on... he also misses the corner, I guess. But yeah, it's enough to get 2 people in the grab. And as GEEKSTAR now, you just have to use your own grab, and that's it. RunAway can trans. If GEEKSTAR uses D.Va Bomb, RunAway can trans and they still live. Yeah, beat, I mean, not trans. This rotation to point is way too slow. You want to rotate right now to point, like, or let's see. Right now you want to move to point as RunAway. Or on an alternative is an alternative is you go high ground. And that's the quickest way to point, plus you avoid. So, okay, so the correct play I think would have been going in here, up high ground, and going this way. Because that way they deny grab from GEEKSTAR. They can build up their own grab, or they can build up beat and take the fight on point. It's a bit longer of a route, but it's the safest one, I think. Right here, they're backing off, of course, but it's very one-dimensional if you think about it, because if they want to set up on point, they have 2 choices. Either first choice is they go right side, and what GEEKSTAR can do then is they just go left side, speed to point, and contest point, force RunAway to stand on point, or yeah, drop down basically. RunAway can go left, and just hold point, or they can go up on high ground, but they should probably just stand on point right now. And that leaves them open to, because going high ground from left side is not enough time, since they have a Lucio here. And what GEEKSTAR can do is just send a D.Va Bomb in on point, go for a pin, go for a stun, etc. Yeah, Oliver, it's Contenders VODs from Korea yesterday. This shatter, they should have seen the shatter come in. Like this dude, he's turning. You know that they don't have a grab. You hear them speed in, you see them speed in, and he's turning, basically getting everyone shattered. Most of the misplays in this match has been from both main tanks. And look, like, your GEEKSTAR, your main tank turns, and he decides to not block shatter. And there's no reason for him to turn as well. Like, if he wants to move back, he can press S as well, or you can call for speed. Or even switch to speed, or you can rotate your shield, everything. You can do a ton of things. But anyways, your Lucio decides to pop beat with 2 people dead. It's just a lost point right now. Do you have any tips for someone who has 0 experience with coaching but do have experience in high-level teams that would like to start coaching? Yeah, I have some great tips. It's you're not gonna learn everything within a month or 2 months. It's gonna take a few years, like to be a high level coach, the same way you became a high level player. But you want to learn, you want to figure out exactly how, not exactly, but you want to figure out how you went from a rookie to a high level player, the way you learned. You want to figure out the techniques and methods you use to practice, to study the game, and then also being conscious about how you do it now, like as a coach, like how do you apply it to yourself, like how do you become more knowledgeable about the game. That's the first step. The second step is where actual coaching comes in. And just let me drink some water. The second step is you want to learn how players learn the same thing you learned, but in different ways. And you won't be able to learn that without experience. And experience and that's why I mentioned years. Not years, of course, but you won't be the greatest coach without having a ton of trial and error on your shoulders. And so basically you have to learn how to translate ideas from your head or from someone else's head into someone else's head. You basically have to learn how players speak, how they receive things, and you have to be able to, within a snap, make it from, let's say that you have a one way of speaking, and then you have to basically instantly translate it to the way a player speaks, and then you have to do it between several players. And when you arrive to a high level team where you have to break down a high level concept, let's say that you have a match VOD, you have to first interpret it yourself, then you have to communicate whatever you broke down or what you found from your own perspective, make it into a perspective that the players can see and receive to the best extent possible. And that takes a lot of practice and time. And I know Jane became a coach in 10 years, in 10 months, I mean, not years. But it's very different from... It's very different to be... How do you say it? It's very different to be the absolute best coach. Like, let's say you take someone from StarCraft Brood War that has coached for 10 years and compare that to someone that has been coached for 3 years, that has been coaching for 3 years in Overwatch. Completely different game. I've been doing it for 3 years basically. That coach who has been coaching for 10 years or 15 years, he could come in without any game knowledge and do a better job than me. That's basically how little game knowledge plays a role when coaching. It's all about understanding how people think and how you translate ideas, how you teach them, not teach them, but how you... It's more about people than actually the game itself. But at first you have to understand the game, of course. And but yeah, the greater of a coach you are, the less reliant you are on the game, if that makes sense. And I know this myself from first-hand experience with DK, a mental... No, what's he called? His title is Head of Sports Psychology for the Dallas Mavericks. And he needed like 2 days or 1 day with fuel to get through to them and solve problems that I wouldn't be able to solve. Yeah, sort of. I haven't never experienced Moon or like worked with Moon or know how he is behind the scenes, because yeah, I haven't worked with him. But I guess yeah. Or like Spitfire's coach 815, I think his name is. He has a ton of experience as well, and he's a strong coach just because of that. And then the thing is also you have a ton of assistant coaches that you delegate more specific game related things to when you head coach, as Moon or coach 815. Oh yeah, I forgot the name. But yeah, study how to learn and so on. It seems very popular in Korea to do greedy plays right now. The meta in Korea, like comp-wise, used to revolve around more strict play. Like you have strict setups. The Rissa comp, for example, maybe it's because the level of play has temporarily gone down, like for teams in Korea, and that's why. But you wouldn't see like gaps in, not gaps, but mistakes that you can punish easily, like this. For example, this Zarya is easy to scout if there's just someone scouting. And yeah, the graph got eaten. It's one of the easiest graphs to eat in this match, I think. What can you do as RunAway? Oh, no, it hasn't been even used, my bad. It looked like it was used. But yeah, you trade graphs. So as RunAway, what's the goal if you die here? Well, you don't die, actually. It's just unfortunate that everyone got booped. Then they are just split here. GEEKSTAR. GEEKSTAR Zarya out in the open. I should Brick stun before grab here? She could. It's not that she should, because that's dependent on what the team wants. Like if they want to bait out more ults from RunAway, etc. There's never a should or shouldn't do. There's just, I know I'm saying I should or shouldn't do, but there's very optimal things, and then there's like plays that are maybe 5% stronger than another play that's 5% stronger, but the risk is probably 10% more risky than the other play. Because you have to factor in RunAway has bubbles, maybe you don't get the stun, they counter stun, maybe they throw a diva bomb behind you, etc. I think the issue with GEEKSTAR here is that they split up. So some are behind, Zarya comes from the side here. Instead, if they have everyone just in front, it would have been a better fight. Now they switch to Winston. I don't think he should switch to Winston. I think he should just learn how to block shatters and not like stress out, because this switch is probably like stressing out. You're gonna build a lot more charge as Reinhardt, you're gonna survive more, and as Winston you can only go on like Zen, but then what Zen does instead, he's just playing with the team and standing in the middle of it. Okay, so he goes for a jump to Zen. They just ignore it. Like, that's the way you deal with it. You just ignore it. And look here. They trade. This is kind of awkward for RunAway. Even though they get another kill here. Man, GEEKSTAR had a chance. Yeah, so the idea with Winston is that in more open maps like Lijiang, for example, Night Market, Lijiang Garden, you can run the Winston because you can dive super far back. And you have a ton of distance between the Zen and the Monkey and the Diva. And that way you can sandwich the enemy. But right here, you don't have that distance. And there's a ton of things blocking line of sight. Like this one, this thing, this wall here. And this corner. Like there's just too much line of sight blocking. So Winston isn't really good here. To run that form of goats, I mean. Let's see here. So RunAway's Winston dies. Ryan dies. Wait, what happens? Ah, they are still fighting and that's why he goes Winston. Okay, he goes Winston to get back quickly. And since he used ult. As RunAway, you don't want to go back in here now because instead you want to set up on high ground. With Winston here, you have Zen really far back. You can even have Zarya, Brick and Diva here. You just drop on them. Down. We can fight on point even. Now this is the fourth VOD of the day. Actually, I've been doing a ton. Like this one is pretty long because I'm going really in depth in this map because since it's pro play, I'm looking at all the things. And first VOD of the day was from Phantoms though, and he was playing Sombra, and it looked like it was smurfing Sombra, and I think it was, but yeah. We're gonna do VODs. We're gonna finish this one and then do some comp, I think. I was gonna do another one, Kongdu versus Gen G, but I'll see. It's gonna be more than 1.5 hours for that one, I think. I might play something else than comp as well. So because they have that far forward fight, they lost. They should have just instead punished Leo. Right here, you discard a monkey and focus him basically. Nice grab. This Diva bomb is just out of line of sight, I think. Did you ever review a Diva Zarya Blizzard Wall game by any chance? Let's see. No, not today. Not today. I haven't. Let's see what VODs there is. So the VODs I did for today was from Phantoms, IRL XQC, and GL260. It was 2 Hollywood games and 1 Iconwald game. And the Zarya Diva game, I think I messaged you on, if it was you, I mean, I messaged you on Discord that I'm saving it for Monday, because I wanted to do Contenders VODs as well. And Sunday is for subs, Sub Sunday. And those VODs are already planned. So monkey dies. Yeah, as soon as the monkey died, RunAway won. And they just had more ults. They use all the defensives, they have Diva Bomb. They have Trance coming up. So they stack Trance and Beat, which is a bad thing. Maybe if they use only Beat. Actually then Zen would die, I think. Yeah. It's a bit unfortunate. Actually, it's not unfortunate, it's... They couldn't have survived the Diva Bomb otherwise, I think, with Zen. Maybe. Let's see here. Where is the enemy Zen? Okay, so enemy Zen is here. If he instead plays... He can stay here even. Could be here, so he doesn't get grabbed. But he ends up moving here. You see, they end up grouping up. And if this Zen wouldn't be feeling like he was Terminator and like trying to frag out and stay here, he wouldn't get grabbed. And they could use Beat. He wouldn't die from the Diva Bomb and everyone else would survive. And then he can use Trance and they can turn. Because RunAway doesn't have Trance. Obviously, you have to keep in mind that the Diva Bomb was sent out after the grab comes out. And the Diva aiming would... Like, we don't know if the Diva would have sent the bomb right here or sent it here, depending on if Zen was caught or not caught. It's equally probable that the Diva Bomb would have been in between and killing both and forcing Trance anyways. It's a close game. Like, RunAway still wins. As a spectator live, this might seem like a stomp, but both teams are misplaying super hard, in my opinion. And it's mainly the main tanks that does it. And it's... Some of it is mechanical for GEEKSTAR. And for RunAway, it's mostly like positions and stuff. Which is knowledge, like about the matchup and all that. Oh yeah, I totally understand your waterfall. Oh, it's not over. Oh, I thought it was over. Yeah, the mechanical thing was that Leo once... He was turning around to block a shatter and didn't block it, where he should have blocked it. And it was just misplay by mechanics. They're running the same goats. And this time Reinhardt is on high ground. This is weird. Ah, he's gonna drop. Okay, he's just gonna keep the same position. They're just getting bullied. Like they have to engage right here. They have to find... Okay, so GEEKSTAR. If this Reinhardt doesn't get discorded, it's because this Zen isn't focused enough on pressing discord. Because, like, okay, he gets discorded. Now they should speed in, but they aren't in position to do it. Because everyone is just so far back. Because Reinhardt is here and the team is here, so they need to avoid spam and hide behind this line of sight. Instead, they could have been positioned with the Rein. And this is a big misplay as well. And now RunAway has the upper hand because they have discarded the enemy run out. That's the worst thing Mag could do. Like going for the pin. It's such a long distance that it's easy to just dodge. Now, Lee will just counter pin and he's dead. And that's how you throw as RunAway. Well, not throw, but like, it's so unnecessary to go for the pin. And it just happens. Like, it can be stress, it can be that he isn't thinking about it, he doesn't, or he is thinking about it, but he doesn't see the risk in it. And these are young players as well, so you have to factor in that risk management, or knowing. It's like the younger you are as a player, the harder it's going to be for you to see the risks, like in game and so on. And that's why a ton of young players are super like greedy, because they physically like have a disadvantage compared to older players in terms of evaluating like what happens. And the best way to prepare them for that is just to study it as coaches and whole team and so on. Study the matchups. It got me thinking about one thing. There's like tanks, DPS players, etc. that sometimes misplay and they do a bad play because of not being able to see the risk. Maybe it could be because yeah, I don't know. I'm just overthinking, I think. Sometimes players get labeled because of the misplays in a tournament, and it could be blown up more than it actually should be because of like natural things like age. That could have been scouted out as well. Or it was scouted. I think the pin Mag did maybe caused them to... Actually, I'm not sure. Like... I don't think they... Yeah, it's just mind games at this point. And if you look here, as the Zarya, why not check this room? Like send a right click in here to check. If you get the hit mark, that's gonna save you. But since the Zarya doesn't check, I guess they don't even think about checking with right clicks. Instead they try to get visuals, like walking out. Okay, there's nothing here. And maybe they don't see anything in here. Yo Silver, I'm pretty good. I'm just reviewing this this Horizon map, and it's pretty in depth. Well, I'm trying to go in depth. How's your day so far? Thank you for tuning in, by the way. But yeah, this Zarya, she doesn't scout. She's way too far out. And when she dies right now, RunAway still has a ton of time to work with. But it's so demoralizing in game for like any team. And GEEKSTAR can be punished for this, but the mind games like compensates for the bad positioning. Because yeah, the mind games make it so that RunAway doesn't check, or you know, all these things. How strong is the new RunAway squad at the moment? I would say it's not really that strong. It's not strong at all compared to the old one. And I haven't seen the games. This is like the only first map I've seen from Contenders, but they have a lot of things to work on, like fundamental things. And I'd say they are pretty much on the same level as GEEKSTAR, which is a new team as well. I think at least it's a new team. But yeah, RunAway doesn't look like the Contenders champions right now. What do you mean when you talk about fundamentals? So I'm talking about knowing the matchup basically between a mirror. So for example, RunAway plays Zen Goats, GEEKSTAR plays Zen Goats, and they take very like risky fights when they don't have to. They don't look for the correct discords. They don't engage when they should, or they don't check enemy positions, like right here in the corner. Like Zarya can right click, because in this match earlier on when I reviewed it, GEEKSTAR tried the same thing, you know, the same setup. RunAway did the same setup, and once you have seen the enemy do something once or twice, you just wanna make sure that they aren't doing it a third time and so on. And there's a ton of more things, like Leo here, he forgets to, or like he doesn't try to block a shatter, or like he panics. Mag, he does a Superman charge from this side to the opposite side by point and gets killed. And yeah, I can show that actually. Let's see, it's right here, I think. Oh, it's the next one. No. Yeah, anyways, I'll just continue here. There's no reason for switching. It's just like spelling says. If you have practiced something, it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter if you have 10% more, like on paper. Sorry for the mic. If you have 10% more chance to win on paper, because on paper you have all these things from real life that you don't have to think about, like health condition, how warm it is, how cold it is, how much FPS the PCs are running on, how well your morning was, or how well you slept, how well you eat or ate, how well everyone is feeling today, is anyone stressed, is anyone new to playing on stage, is the crowd too loud or like stressing you out. All these like million of things that can't be predicted in real life, and that's why, for example, Moneyball doesn't work and will never work. And even anti-goats, like you have to practice anti-goats, and it doesn't look like they have practiced it, because you have to factor in that RunAway was just sold, or like the team, they just finished gathering up the players, and the worst thing you can do when you make a new team is focusing on too many things at once. You want to focus on one thing, get good at that, and then you can focus on something else. Otherwise, you'd never form a core. And for example, they're playing one comp, but they can't play it 100% optimal. There's no reason for them to go back and switch to a comp that they might play suboptimal more than this, for example. And it's a mirror as well. the team that sets up on point first right now is the team that's gonna win the fight, I think. So you think most low tier teams should one-trick goats? No, I never said that they should one-trick goats. I said that they should one-trick a comp. Not on every map. Like you shouldn't take everything literally. You should, for example, on maps that are like King's Row, you select one comp that you focus on and you practice it. So you don't have 4 comps for King's Row, 4 comps for Numbani, 4 comps for King of the Hill. You get the idea. You have 1 comp for King's Row. Maybe you have a different comp for Numbani. Maybe you have a similar comp for Gibraltar. But every time you're scrimming King's Row, scrimming Numbani, scrimming Gibraltar, you're practicing the same thing so that you get good at it. You know what I mean? You don't one-trick the same comp everywhere, because that's just dumb. That's like trying to get educated in one area, like trying to become, I don't know, you go to college for one thing and then you try to search jobs outside of that area. It doesn't make sense, does it? And the reason for why I'm so strict about it is that at this level, like, there's so much money involved that you have to practice correctly and optimally. And for example, the way practice is done in the West is really inefficient, and it's still inefficient in OWL sometimes. Like, sometimes in OWL you go into scrim and you have no idea what map you're gonna play or what the opponent wants to play, because sometimes the teams don't talk about it. I'm not sure if they do now, but in Season 1. So as I mentioned, the team that sets up on point first is the team that should be winning, because they have Discord advantage and all that. Actually, I didn't look at the ults. So RunAway has 2 defensives, 3 defensives and Diva Bomb. GEEKSTAR has armor on everyone, so they use Brigade defensive. They have no beat. Okay, so they have Grav though, so it's pretty much equal. GEEKSTAR are at an advantage with ults because of Grav plus Diva Bomb. Yeah. Is this Contenders match? This is a Contenders match between these 2 teams. It was played yesterday. Can you recommend a team comp that a high plat team should one-trick? I'd say I can't recommend exactly which one, because you want to play to your strengths. So what you can do, I can recommend this though. Look at or talk with the team, everyone together, and you try to figure out what's the top 3 heroes in every role, basically, for every player. So every player has a top 3, and based on what your best heroes are, you try and pick, or you try and copy the most similar comp. Maybe, let's say that if you copy Zen Goats as an example, because it's really strong and it's really popular, so you have a ton of samples to pick from and see how it's played, when it doesn't work and when it works. By picking Zen Goats, let's say that you aren't experienced on Zen with the flex support. What you can do is you evaluate it. Is it worth it for us to learn Zen? Or is it more valuable for us to play Ana or Moira instead? And let's say that you go with Ana or Moira, then you have to just adapt the way you fight on every map or every point so that it's advantageous for Ana, you know, so that you have sightlines, good nades. If you play with Moira, you want to have quick fights, play around corners, etc. And if you fight with Zen, you want to have possible or easy discords by, you know, having Zen on high ground or far back, etc. So it's not easy to kill him. And you want to try and copy because if you don't copy, you're gonna have to do a lot of trial and error, and if you copy someone, you can skip some of that trial and error, because the teams that experimented and came up with Zen goats failed so many times, or they failed enough times that you don't have to fail. Peak, what is your peak, if you don't mind me asking? I think it's like 3,980 or 90 something. Yeah, I would do the Genji Kongdu game, but I won't be able to sit here for another 2 hours and do a great analysis, because it becomes a scrappy analysis if I do it too quickly, and I don't want to do it too quickly, because I might as well just not do it then, since there's so much at stake in these matches and so on. Yo, Rebel. It's good that RunAway, let's see, didn't use, yeah, they didn't even have Grav. So GEEKSTAR are gonna lose the next fight if they don't have beat, because of Grav plus Diva Bomb, which means that RunAway has to go really quickly. This is the best position for RunAway, and I mentioned this when they were attacking first time. This is the absolute best position for them when they're facing Zen goats, because of Zen being on the other side. And maybe they realized it. And the reason for that is because of the Discord. If a team came together for 3 hours, 4 days, a week, how would you recommend for that time to be divided? Spend 1 hour talking about what you're gonna do in a 2-hour scrim, and make it the best 2 hours possible. You're gonna need it, because I'm assuming outside of these 3 hours you're not able to talk together, everyone on, together as a team. And usually teams scrim 2 hours, so use that 1 hour to make sure that you're warmed up for the scrim, and also know exactly what you're gonna practice and why you should practice it. But yeah, make sure that you're warmed up. It's your responsibility as a player to be warmed up before scrims even begin. But yeah, use that 1 hour to prepare. Okay, so let's move on. They've discorded Reinhardt. Yeah, this is the perfect Discord. And this is the reason I mentioned to go this side as well. What are your thoughts on the Brig nerf? I think Brig is still gonna be playable. She's still gonna be used in goats, and the only thing is that you're not gonna go for these easy, or it's not gonna be as easy to go for stunts anymore. You're just gonna have to have better timing and more team play. Let's see what happens. So he gets, wait, he pins. Okay, so Mag pins Assassin, and that's why both fall, because Assassin tries to stun, he gets pinned, they grab and Diva Bomb and that's blocked. How could this have been played out better? So one thing is, so I guess this Zarya is looking for a grab because she has grab right now, but their tank isn't on the same page, and Zarya is probably tunnel visioned right here actually, and that stops the bubble from coming out of Rhine and protecting him. And you see here, like, she's way out of position. Even if the Zarya would go for a bubble, the D.Va would be in the way, I think. Oh no, the bomb didn't go through. I'll show. Okay, so the visual effect went through the bomb, went through the shield, but the center of the bomb is right here. It's like this small like core. And in the new D.Va animation, you also see, or like they even talk about and show the reactor core, whatever it's called. That's like a really small thing right here in the center, and that's what causing that makes the damage. And this is just a visual. Yeah, only the center matters, and I'm not sure like the exact size, but the light obviously becomes larger and larger the more unstable the core becomes because of the lore and all that behind the self-destruct. I didn't think of that until the D.Va animation, actually. When you review a Goat's Mirror matchup, what are the important things? The microplays or the overall team game plan? The overall team game plan, for sure. Because the microplays, like blocking shatter, bubbling, etc. Not bubbling. The microplays are during it is happening during the team fight. Like boops, setting up stun plus something, or you know. The major things, the team plays, are the things that you decide before a fight happens, or that requires a set play or something that you memorize before the match. So I'd say the team stuff, because a mirror matchup is all about mind games. And we can see that because these two teams are on equal skill levels almost. GEEKSTAR is a bit below, but RunAway isn't far higher up. So RunAway has to try and make a play happen with Graph, because GEEKSTAR is gonna farm ults in the next fight. That's a big shatter. I want to see what happens. So we can't see the shatter even. Or actually we can. Yeah, this is a perfect shatter. It can be tempting to go for the Zen there and swing him, but he's gonna kill you. Because at this level, the Zen headshots everything. And that's how RunAway wins. It was such a close game. Like when you break it down like this. In terms of like teamwork and all that. When it comes to the skill, maybe not that close, but the teamwork is, or not the teamwork, it's the macro basically, the macro plays that was close, because they ended up doing the exact same things, and it looked like both teams didn't really know all the 100% plays at first hand, but RunAway then adapted and obviously showed that they knew. Could you give examples of the game plan? Sure. Obviously I can't know exactly what they said in game, but one example here. I think, yeah, this is when RunAway attacks. No, wait. I want to find when RunAway attacks the first time. Yeah, the shirts are super cute on RunAway. It's like one of the best brandings, like brands in Overwatch. Okay, so they just attacked. Oh, it's right here. Okay. Okay, so game plan coming soon. Okay. Basically, the game plan is moving right side. In RunAway's perspective, it's left side. And you want to find a Discord on Rhine. I described this earlier, so it's just repeating what I said earlier. But they know that Zarya and Brig are up here. Actually, I said it was a Brig, but it's a Zarya. I just see it now. And here's a Reinhardt. Reinhardt is not gonna drop his shield and get discorded. If they know that a Zarya is up here, it's almost for sure that no one is on this side. Like 99% sure. And they even see Lucio shooting out or hear him. So what RunAway should do is not move here, instead they move here. And that's the game plan. Like in short words. But I went more in depth about it earlier on. And if you want to see it, just go back in the VOD. Because it's so much to repeat otherwise.